Chairman for a few introductory words, and then we'll open the floor for questions. A few housekeeping issues. We will request all of you to raise your hand to ask questions. If you see on your menu bar, there's a react button below. If you click that, you'll see a hand. You can press that to ask questions. I'm doing mine at the moment, so you can see that this is how you can do this. Otherwise, please feel free to put it on the chat box as well. My colleague Nandini and Manish are also on the call, so if you have any problem, please let us know on the phones in our WhatsApp as well. So thank you once again for joining. I will request Chairman to please a few introductory words before I open the floor for questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Nazib, and good afternoon and welcome to all of you. So I'll be very brief because you would have anyway heard what was said in the morning. But just to highlight a few points. One is very clearly, we remain quite optimistic on the opportunities in India, although there may be certain, or despite whatever near-term challenges may be, but we are quite optimistic of the opportunities in India. The growth rate in India last year has been impressive, and we expect that to sustain and build with all the positive steps being taken from policy making perspective also. And this, our positive view on India is also reflected on the capex that we are looking for the medium term of 20,000 crores. And we continue to focus on ITC next, which is what I said in the morning. And I've explained that in the past, so I'm not going to spend time on it, just to say that, the pillars of making the portfolio future-ready, innovation, digital, agility and resilience of supply chain and sustainability, all of these we will continue to, press the accelerator. At the same time, continuously look at how we organize ourselves so that we are consumer-centric and nimble. We had also spoken about, newer areas in the past. And I think we're making appreciable progress in those areas.
Civil side, even insurance sector, if you look at it.
For example, the cloud kitchen has now expanded to about 30 kitchens in 3 cities from being in 1 city earlier. We also spoke about single-use plastic substitutes. We had platform 1 and 2, which were based on the paperboard and packaging we do, layered with proprietary. If you could keep yourselves muted.
Can you please mute your mics, because we are not able to speak otherwise? Only those who are speaking can please put in. Chairman, please carry on.
So those have been in the market, and we talked about platform 3, which is for making more complex and highly engineered shapes. The molded fiber plant, and this is plant-based fiber, is now being commissioned in Sihor, and certain products are being made, and over time, we will be expanding the product mix and adding a lot of value-added products. The nicotine and nicotine derivative plants is also ready. It's in the process of a combination of customer/regulatory approvals. This also has its own cycle time. And the third is the ITC Mars. And ITC Mars, now we've got 1,650 FPOs, over 1.5 million farmers. And whilst it's just been a year and, just about a couple of years, we're already happy to report that in various places, farmers are already starting to benefit through better incomes through the services that they're getting through it. Exports have been progressing well, as I spoke about in the morning, though there are certain, limitation on agriculture right now because of domestic food security concerns, and also because of the geopolitical dynamic, the delays in shipping and freight.
Recording in progress.
But generally, this is an area that we are continuing to focus on. We are also looking at some proximal markets more strategically. In Nepal, for example, our subsidiary has invested in manufacturing certain of our products, and more will happen over time. In Colombo, we launched ITC Ratnadipa some time back. We've also been making acquisitions over time, very targeted, which are strategic fit with our portfolio. I'm happy to say that we're making appreciable progress. And besides that, I think on our climate agenda also, we are making good progress. Besides decarbonization, I think also on adaptation about making our value chains more resilient, both agriculture and physical infrastructure. We are working on that. That should hopefully give us competitive advantage in the future. I think there are underlying interests very clearly among stakeholders on opting for products and services emanating from companies that are sustainable, whilst it may be early days in terms of translation into actual sales. But I think the underlying trend is there. It's a matter of time that it will become a mainstream trend. Hotels, the demerger is on track. Next few months, hopefully we should be done. And the asset right strategy is also making progress. 32 hotels in the last 24 months. And today was an important day. Today, the 25th Welcome Hotel got launched in Belgavi, Karnataka. And ITC Infotech is also making appreciable progress. Investments are continuing in building capabilities. They've also done some acquisitions in the past. They've also done some big deals in the past. And I think it's slated for a good performance over time. So let me stop here and leave it open for questions. I just want to tell you that, our results are on the 1st. So it will be difficult for me to give you any specific answers on some of the, immediate trends at the moment. We'll have to hold that till the 1st.
Great. Thank you, Chairman. Can I see some hands? Okay, I can see Shilpa first on this. So Shilpa, please go ahead, unmute and go ahead. I'm just telling you beforehand so that, Sesa, you're going to be next. Yeah, Shilpa, please go ahead.
Right. Hi. Good evening, gentlemen. Good to be speaking to you after a really long time. I wanted to first sort of get a better sense on this 20,000 crore capex outlay that you've spoken about, Mr. Puri. If you could throw some color on which are the main areas that this will be going into, if that's something that you can also give me, and give us a sense on, from an ITC point of view, what are you seeing in terms of the demand scenario currently? So a few other companies spoke about, rural starting to outpace urban demand. Are you also seeing significant green shoots there? Is it starting to sort of outpace urban demand for you from an ITC point of view as well? If you could just give me a quick outline on these two questions.
So as far as the 20,000 crores is concerned, a larger component of that will go into FMCG, which is roughly about 35 to 40%. And another third or a little bit less than that will go into paper boards and packaging. The balance will get into other businesses, as in agri, our traditional business, and also get into certain corporate investments that happen. So this is how it's broken up. And the investments are a combination of largely for capacity augmentation, but you will also have for upgradation, modernization, and bringing in more variety and innovation. All of these will all be the principles around which the investments will happen. Now on the demand situation, I don't want to really get into too much here because we should not get confused with the results. Okay, but I'm only talking about the larger trend, I think the larger trend is that there are green shoots in rural. So but having said that, it still remains monitorable because we have to and we are hopeful that things should get better because of monsoons coming in. So it should get better. Monsoons are supposed to be on balance better as compared to last year. Last year, agri grew at only 1 point some percent, and now the expectation is that it will do much better. So with that, things should improve. But this should be only taken as broader trends. It should not be taken as interpreted as a proxy or something like that. I'm just commenting on broader trends. Yeah.
Thank you, Sanjeev. And Shilpa, that was probably your shortest question I've heard for a long time.
I have
Sesa,
a follow-up, but I think I will
we'll do that later.
wait for the others
Thank you.
to finish.
Sure. Sesa, we'll go with you. Udit, you're after that, please.
Yeah, hi, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Puri, on the government's decision to keep tobacco taxes unchanged, which is a positive for the industry, I would like to know to what extent do you expect this to translate into ITC's volume growth overall? If you can give some color on that. And secondly, regarding the agri and the paper business, which have been a drag on the overall revenues due to macro, factors, are you seeing any early signs of revival? And how soon do you anticipate a turnaround in these two businesses?
So as far as the first one is concerned, the first thing about taxation, I think we have seen that in periods where taxes are raised significantly, and you can go back several years and you will find a period from the early part of the last decade till I think 17, 18 or something like that, where taxes went up quite rapidly. And there is data to show that when taxes went up at 15%, revenue growths of the government went up by under 5%, right? And it is also reported by third-party research that the amount of illicit went up. And it went up to as high as a third of the legal industry. And we have seen in the past period of tax stability that the legal industry is able to claw back from illicit industry. And of course, the overall rate of clawback in a way is also indexed to the economic velocity or the growth in the consumption space. So that's what we have seen in the past. We have no reason to believe it will not be otherwise. Specific guidance we haven't really given in the past. But you do have our historical figures to look at and draw conclusions, but we don't give any kind of guidance as such.
Thank you, Chairman.
Now,
carry on.
Question on the agri and the paper business.
Yeah. So I want to answer the agri one. Paper I don't want to answer because results are yet to come out. So we'll hold that for that. Agri is straightforward to answer because the challenge has been on account of in agri the challenge is really because of the restrictions restrictions for the right reasons. We have no complaints against that. We recognize the importance of food and nutrition security, so that restrictions continue, right? But we are hoping with better crops, with better monsoons, things will start easing out in future. I think the rice stocks are also better. So if sowing is better, the crop is better, I think over time they should certainly ease out. However, as we have said in the past, and again I'm not referring to Q1, don't mix it for Q1. I'm just giving you a broader trend of last year. What we have said is that the area that we are strategically putting thrust on in agriculture is on value-added agriculture. There are no issues there, and we continue to scale that up. And that's improved last year, and it will continue to improve in the years ahead. And by value-added agriculture, we mean crops such as in the space of horticulture, we mean medicinal and aromatic plants. We mean processed and value-added, like spices is an example, right? So these or aqua is another big example. So these areas will continue to see progress.
Thank you. Udit, I'll come to you. Just to let you know that I've seen Ayan Karthik's question on the chat and Ishita's. I'll come back to that shortly. After Udit, we're going to Sunira. Udit, please go ahead.
Just a minute. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
So, yeah, I have actually 4 questions.
Oh my God.
So, to start with, no, not the lengthy questions that way. First, to start with, you said there's 20,000 crore investment, which is midterm. So, midterm means what? It's 5 years, 7 years, or 8 years. And you said 20 to 35% is FMCG and 15 to 20%, if I'm not wrong, is I think paperboard and this thing. And the rest is agriculture and whatever. So I want to know the medium term means how much is 5 years or 7 years is the time frame. And second is about your plans for health and nutrition. Any new product are you planning, as well as premiumization of products? This is the third. And fourth one is plans about ITC Infotech. There are a lot of questions about that also today. So any IPO, or there is a plan for merging ITC Infotech with ITC or whatever? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. See, 20,000 crores is over typically within 5 years. That's the typical range. And it is about, 35 to 40% in FMCG, another 30 to 35% in paperboards and packaging. Paperboards and packaging, as you know, that our site in Bhadrachalam is fairly saturated, and therefore for a fresh site, greenfield site, which will, as a once-off, when you start a new location, there are going to be additional investments. But site in Bhadrachalam has lasted us for several decades because we will expand on that site in a modular fashion. So we are looking for a big site, and then we'll expand in a modular fashion in those areas. And the balance is all the other businesses, including corporate. The second question you asked about health and nutrition is an important area, and we are continuing to develop. Recently, we launched, ghee with low cholesterol. And we are just in the down the line, maybe another week, 10 days or so, we're going to launch a new brand called Right Shift. Now, these are for people. It's, of course, anybody can eat it, but targeted with dense nutrition, targeted at people in the age group of 40 and upwards. This is more for strength and energy building, and slowly we will add more vectors to that portfolio. Now, this has proprietary formulations created at our ITC Life Sciences and Technology Center, but these are all completely natural products, and there will be a range of them. We'll be coming out with it sooner. Yeah, premiumization, yes, is doing well. It is growing at a rate that is, significantly more than the average growth rate, substantially more, and that momentum continues to, build from there. So growth rate is quite substantial there.
Thank you.
And ITC Infotech.
ITC Infotech. Okay.
Yeah.
So ITC Infotech, the focus, as I said, is to build ITC Infotech into a very large engine of growth. We are just like FMCG is scaled up amongst our newer businesses. We want Infotech to scale up, and that's why investments are being made on capability building. Business is posting a robust trajectory, and we'll continue to build on that. Now, as far as IPO, etc., is concerned, whilst there is no plan at the moment, but these are certainly, things that are in the realms of possibility.
Please put your mics on mute, please.
These are possibilities in future, though I will say that there's nothing on the anvil right now. But right now, the focus is really to build a powerful competitive business, and that's what the business is tasked with.
Thank you. I'll be moving on to Sunira, but just before I do that, Sunira, just give me a second. Ayan has been putting this question in the chat for a while. His mic is not working. Ayan Karthik is from Outlook Business. He has a question regarding the company's focus on exports and international markets. He said that consumption has been volatile in the Indian market. How big is the company looking to go on to international markets, or will it be focused only on proximate markets?
So, as far as international markets are concerned, there will be various phases of development. In the phase that we are in right now, we are looking at exports to a large number of countries and very large number of countries, 70, 80 countries. And we are looking at more strategic presence. By strategic presence, I'm saying, local manufacturing and a more systematic, organized, not organized, but more investments into building brands and building own distribution in such markets, right? So we've started the journey through our subsidiary in Nepal, and there are other markets we are currently looking at, where we will, once we have the right opportunity, we will move there. And over a period of time, we will also look at more strategic plays in other markets. But at this phase, this is what we are looking at. We have put the distribution apparatus in many markets. Some markets, it is still work in progress. And we are starting to also invest and build our brands in these markets. And I would say that in some areas, in some pockets, certainly I wouldn't say everything, but we are making appreciable progress. Some products are doing quite well, and we will continue to build on that. This is the phase we are in. Once we reach some level of maturity here, then we will look at the next phase.
Thank you, sir. Vinny, can I request you to put your question, please?
Hi, thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. So this is Vinny Motiwal from ET Now, and I had a couple of questions in terms of, the export ban that is there on wheat. Do you think, any possibility of that being lifted, or any conversations that are going on that front? And also food inflation, what is the cost of wheat? Because, that is something that has been impacting the company also for a while. So any respite that is coming down in terms of the inflation there?
So, the answer to both these questions is related to the domestic production. And if we have sufficient stocks, I'm sure there will never be a problem for exports, because that's a way to earn forex earnings, and that's a way to also benefit farmers. But naturally, domestic food availability and inflation get priority. So the question, I think, to pause over is that, given that extreme weather events are continuing to multiply, what do we do about it? What can we do to make this a more sustainable solution? I think there are some interesting thoughts that are embedded in the budget. For example, this creating vegetable clusters near consumption centers. That is going to bring in some efficiencies in the supply chain. Wastages will go down, because today food inflation is the one that is sticky. That's what the RBI reports also indicate. The second is that we need to work on building resilience in agriculture value chains. And that is where the climate smart agriculture that I spoke about this morning, which is on 2.8 million acres so far we have done. And the villages we started earlier on, 70% of them have gone into high yield and high resilience from a baseline of around 21%. So that's the area that we all need to collectively work on and build resilience in agriculture. And for our company as a whole, we are approaching it fairly holistically. We are doing site and value chain specific climate modeling based on advanced AI tools. And based on the outcomes of that, we are starting to take mitigative steps. So that focus is really around adaptation. And the whole intervention that we are doing on water, on integrated rainwater harvesting, where we have 32,000 structures, which provide soil and which provides moisture and irrigation to about 1.6 million acres. These are the kind of endeavors that are required to build resilience in agriculture, and we will continue to focus and build on that. And once these issues are sorted out, naturally, I think the opportunity to export and the sticky food inflation also gets addressed.
Thank you. I will go to a question from the chat box from Ashish Sinha, and just to tell you, Kumar Rahul from PTI will come to you after this. Ashish Sinha from Business World is asking that your comment on the readiness to align with the recent budget announcement of top 500 companies' involvement in providing training or internship to lakhs of youth. How many do you think ITC Group will provide for training internship in the given year?
So I think this providing impetus to internship is a good step, because we do need more and more industry-ready skills. You sometimes hear reports also about there being opportunities in industries and yet skills not being available. So there's a mismatch. And sometimes when people are available, maybe they're not industry-ready. So this will generate a much more robust pool of industry-ready people. So it's a positive step. And we are happy to participate. Now, of course, the details have to be worked out. It's too early for me to provide any guidance on that. But certainly, we'll be happy to participate within ITC and also with our value chain partners.
Yeah, thank you. Kumar Rahul, would you like to put your question, please?
Yeah, Mr. Puri, I have a question on the budget. In the budget, the government has put a special emphasis on the rural side, and they're investing from the last 3-4 years. And you also just mentioned that there is a green shoot from rural. So, if you look at the broader contour, this rural is going to come up in next 1 year, 1.5 year. So, would you align your portfolio along with the rural growth, the way the government is investing in and putting the money? Would you orient your products more on the rural side?
So, we have products, plenty of products in our portfolio that are relevant for rural markets. I think where we are focused right now is to expand our reach and expand our and do market development in rural areas. Now that's a lot of thrust that's being provided, and also similarly supported by the kind of marketing that is required in rural areas. So we will continue to invest there, and because we do feel there is a lot of potential there, a lot of headroom to grow.
Thank you. We have on the chat box from Mithun Dasgupta from Hindu Business Line. He's asking about the ITC Next strategy. We said that the company's aspiration is to become the number one in the non-cigarette FMCG sector. He said, is there a possible time frame to it? What is the plan? Would you like to elaborate a little bit about this? And also on the food technology front, Mithun, I'm not too sure what you mean by food technology, but basically the plan for going ahead in FMCG.
So we want to, our guidance is that we want to sustain top quartile performance. And that is what ITC Next is designed to deliver. And second is we've given a guidance that we will see continued margin expansion on an average about 100 basis points per year. It doesn't mean that every year it will be 100 exactly. Sometimes it can be less, sometimes it can be more. But over a period of time when you look at it, we should be seeing that kind of glide path of an average of about 100 basis points. So that's our focus, and that's what drives our ITC Next strategy.
I'll go to Abhishek, please, for your question.
Yeah, hi. I have two questions. The first is that you said that 35 to 40% of the 20,000 crore is for FMCG. Could you give us some more information? Like, is this investment going to be in ICMLs? What kind of ICML capacity you have? What are you looking at? Are new ICMLs coming up? On what is the capacity? What are you looking at? Is this kind of portfolio building? some more information on the FMCG part. And the second question is that you said that Bhadrachalam has reached the a maximum kind of capacity utilization, and you are looking for a new project for the paper goods business. So where exactly do you want? Are you preferring to come up with this plant in which region? What kind of benefits are you looking at? Are you in talks with some states on this? That will be two questions from my side.
Okay, so as far as FMCG investments are concerned, it is in really, you can look at it in 3-4 buckets. One is, as we have said in the past, that we have a blueprint on where we want to put our ICMLs so that ultimately we get the lowest cost of delivery. And ICMLs give us, economies of scale and scope. They have integrated logistics, so you delayer operations. Being in proximal markets, market servicing is better, freshness is better. So there are multiple benefits that come through ICMLs. And in addition to that, with the state-of-the-art technology, it gives us an edge on quality. They become hubs of innovation and productivity. And within the limitations of the agroclimatic conditions, we also work with our agri-business to create a local agri-value chain so that the input logistics also gets optimized. That's the whole philosophy. And as capacity utilizations improve, we keep on adding. So we have 11 ICMLs at the moment, but some of them are fully utilized. Some of them have got headroom for greater production. Some of them have got headroom for even machinery addition, because we are creating the civil infrastructure for being a very large player in the FMCG space. So we have built it for scale, and with passage of time, as machines get fully loaded, we keep on adding machines on a modular level. So investments will go on adding machinery. Investments will go in upgrading product quality. Investments will go in bringing in variety and more innovation. And in new sites, 2 sites are under construction right now, one in Seor and one in near Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh. As far as the paperboard site is concerned, I think this is work in progress. So once we are done, then we'll be happy to share it. Yes, but we are exploring various options at the moment.
Thank you. Ishita, you had a question on chat box, but I think you have something more now. And I'll come back to Ritankar after this. So Ishita, go ahead.
So just wanted to understand, Mr. Puri, I think in 2021, you had indicated an investment of a capex of $2 billion for the medium term. So is that now complete, that $2 billion investment?
So, what you're seeing right now is the figure I'm giving you is higher than 2 billion. So you're seeing it's on an upward trajectory. Second is these are rolling plans. Investments take place, and every year we revisit it. So when I told you 2 billion, it would be on typically we give it for about a few years timeline. So some of it is already done, some of it is work in progress. But as we are seeing the next few years, the trajectory is upwards.
Yeah, thanks. Ritankar, would you like to go ahead? After this, Kalicharan from Amar Ujala, I'll come to you.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon. I have just 2 queries. You spoke about right shift. So possible to give like what kind of products you're looking at? Is it like a health drink or something else? And secondly, since you said you're looking at the international markets in a big way, is there any scope for the legacy business as well to export those products if you're already not doing it? Thank you.
So right shift is going to be a portfolio of products. It will be some sort of meals, sort of snacking items, some sort of drinks. So it will be a portfolio. And we are launching with it will be an, I won't get into details now. I will at the right time, I think the Hemant will do the announcement when it's about to be launched, or his colleagues will do it. And the portfolio will be expanded over time as we experience, because it's a new space we are getting into. So we'll have to also learn from our experiences and fine tune and strengthen it. So we will be doing that. As far as legacy business is concerned, yes, we do export to some part of the world. We do export to some parts of the world where there is Indian diaspora, like West Asia, and we do exports also to some places in Africa. We do some amount of exports, and of course, this is going to be a progressively we will improve that, but it's not going to be something that will see us making major investments.
Thank you. I'm going to go to a question on the chat box from Kalicharan and from Amar Ujala. The question is, what is the impact of the high inflation on ITC products demand and business, especially in rural India?
So this is, again getting into this blur of the quarterly aspects. So I'm going to hold this. We'll deal with this in.
Sure. Yeah, that's I can understand, Kalicharan, because the results he said is coming up on the 1st, so we will have to wait for that. I'm going to go to also another question on the chat box from Radhindu Mishra. This is about when is the hospitality business expected to be listed after demerger? What is the scale-up plan of this business? What is the company doing to sweat its assets?
So it should be, in about 6 months' time. I think the process should be concluded in about 6 months' time. And as far as sweating assets is concerned, it's about seeing really how we can bring in better productivity and better revenues into that asset by what we are doing already, F&B and room and banqueting, and also looking at new revenue streams, which is gourmet couch, which is out of the hotel dining, and there are also pilots on the proof of concept of. We have done a lot of investments in understanding how to get a good night's sleep.
Sorry, I'm just going to mute someone. Yeah, sure. Please go ahead. Yeah.
So we have started sleep boutiques in some of our hotels, and we are studying that space because that's another interesting space that we can build up over time given our expertise. We normally enter areas where we have something unique to bring on the table. ITC LSTC houses a sleep lab, and a lot of knowledge comes from there. A lot of knowledge comes with our experience in hospitality, and we build that together. And over time, we will. Right now, I would say it's more of a proof of concept at the moment.
Thank you.
Those are the areas we are evaluating.
Thank you. We have Sambit for the next question. Sambit, would you like to ask? No? You're on mute, Sambit.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, two questions. Is that under your leadership, ITC has made a number of acquisitions. So when you say about 20,000 crore investment from ITC in next 5 years, does that include a component, a kitty for acquisitions? That's number one. And number two is that you said quite bullish about food tech, and food tech is being expanded. So can you have a roadmap of how where the food tech is going to be next 6 to 12 months, in which city?
Okay. See, this is the investment I mentioned is largely, for organic. There could be some pieces of small pieces of inorganic in it, because really it's difficult to really give very specific figures for significant inorganic acquisitions, because that only depends on when the opportunity arises. These are largely for organic development investments. What was the second question?
Food tech. The expansion of food tech.
Yeah. Food tech. Right now it is in Bangalore, Chennai, and Hyderabad. So I think first priority is to really saturate that market. So that will go on, and we will build it just like in Bangalore. We now have 20 kitchens. So we will build all the other 2 cities also, and Bangalore also may see some incremental additions. After, we haven't yet taken a view as to when we should go beyond these 3 cities, but it will happen. I mean, we don't have a timing for it, but it will happen over time. Right now, the focus is on these 3 cities and also on expanding the menu.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to go back to Shilpa Ranipeta once again. I think she has another follow-up question.
I just had a quick follow-up on your response, Mr. Puri, earlier about the hotels demerger. You said 6 months it will be completed, and earlier you had given a 15-month timeline for listing, which would ideally be end of this month. So could we expect the listing by the end of this year? Looking at that 15-month timeline, so could we expect the listing end of this year?
We had given, I think, 15 to 18 months, if my memory serves me right. And more or less, we should be within that kind of time frame. So end of the year types, it should happen. It's very difficult, to exactly put a date to it, because these are all regulatory processes that have to one has to go through. And sometimes there are queries, and the queries have to get answered. So they have their own schedules that it takes a time. So we had estimated 15 to 18. More or less, we should be there. I mean, I don't think there'll be any big departure from that.
All right. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chairman. We are coming to the end of the session. Are there any other questions that I should flag from you? Or I can see on the chat box, he's already answered most of the questions there. So if there are no other questions, sorry.
Sunita here.
Yeah, Sunita, just give me a second. There is one more. Just give me a second, Sunita. I'm coming back to you. Yeah, there is one question from Vartika in Money Control. How much is quick commerce shaping consumption trend for FMCG companies? Have you seen premiumization penetration boost due to this? There were no hikes in the tobacco tax. This has been answered, Vartika, before. What impact are you seeing on this in volume? He has already answered part of it, but I think the quick commerce question on FMCG companies.
What is the question? Basically, quick commerce.
The shaping consumption trend for FMCG companies because of quick commerce.
So, as far as quick commerce is concerned, maybe Sumant and Hemant can address those specific trends and all. I will just say that its growth is quite robust, and you can add on to it.
Sumant, Mr. Sumant, please.
Yeah. So our e-commerce percentage has grown from 6 to 8%, and that 2% growth is largely coming in from growth in quick commerce. In fact, we are seeing a increasing preference for quick commerce in the e-commerce space. So more and more consumers are adopting quick commerce, and we're seeing growth rates, very significant growth rates amongst the quick commerce players, and we work with all of them in the market.
Mr. Malik, would you like to add anything?
I think she wanted to understand from a consumer trend perspective. I can take one example of how frozen food penetration is evolving thanks to quick commerce, because people don't have enough space in their refrigerator to keep frozen food, but with quick commerce they can order, and we are finding a significant increase in penetration basket taking place through that. So that's one of those impacts on premiumization thanks to quick commerce.
Thank you. Mithun, there's a question that you asked on hotels business expansion, but that Chairman has already covered. Is there anything specific you wish to ask on this? You can come on the line. You just wanted to, I think, understand about the asset right strategy. That's all.
I have to say something?
Yeah, I think just on the asset right strategy. That's the strategy, not hotels.
So we have opened 32 hotels in the last 24 months. In the medium term, we are looking at moving from nearly 140 hotels now to about 200 hotels. The asset right strategy envisages a lot of addition of properties and keys, working with our partners, where we manage the hotels and in some cases help them, guide them in building the assets also. And also on certain in certain areas, we will put up our own assets. Like the next asset that we are in the process of going to be starting sooner than later is in Puri.
Thank you. Mithun, your question on number of owned versus, asset right. I think that's a process when we're going forward. I don't think we're giving any numbers. With that, I would like to close this interaction. I know there's one last question again from Sesa. Please, I think we'll take this last one, if that is okay with you, Chairman. He's talking about new launches are becoming hard to sustain according to a Kantar report. Please give us some color. How much new launches are expected to contribute to sales in the next 1 or 2 years? I think that's a very broad question.
So we normally don't give guidance, but there is a fair bit of I think movement that we get in our portfolio on account of innovation. Of course, there are some innovations that are designed for specific channels and certain niches and premiumization, and there are certain that are for more larger consumption. So put together, we get a fair bit of through innovation, and it does vary across various categories that we are into. But I would say it's a let me just say that it's a reasonable number.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. With that, we are going to thank all of you for joining us this afternoon. And as you all know, we are here between me and Nandini and my colleague Manish to come back to you. And let me also thank Chairman for a long day today, both the AGM and this press conference. And so also colleagues Sumant, Supratim and Hemant for being on this call. So thank you very much for joining us. Hope to see you soon again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.